explaining the mysteries surrounding African spirituality and witchcraft versus the modern Hebraic Christianity and those Abrahamic cultures. So, to say, witchcraft is a practice that dates back to the very genesis of the human race, referring to the writings of Western lexicographers. We can understand witchcraft as magical operations of a person who is believed to be in relationship with the devil in order to do evil. While the Webster New Collegiate Dictionary defines witchcraft as the use of sorcery, whereas sorcery is defined as the use of power gained from the assistance or control of evil spirits, especially for divination, and it gives as a synonym of sorcery the term necromancy. From these divination, it appears that the understanding of the Westerners, witchcraft involves a relationship with the devil, and therefore it can only harm, even if it may take a positive connotation because the essence of the devil is evil. The evil nature of witchcraft makes of it a practice that disturbs the public order. This led to the West to war against it. It follows that witchcraft is a pejorative concept and it is this connotation that Western thought has struck to any notion that which has assigned this name, regardless of what idea the indigenous had of it. Africa has not escaped this coloration of local values, especially as it was conducted among in order to subdue the African nations, read ethics, and to lay the foundations for a rule that would establish a new geographical and political configuration. Thus, in the Kingdom of Congo, words like Nganga, Umpungo, Umpandu, referring respectively to an expert, a power, and a right, became under the chromatic influence of witchcraft, repulsive terms evoking the image of flirtation with evil spirits, with the degradation of local values. Congo priests and healers eventually became vulgar and ganga in Kisi, especially when beyond simple words, herbs and minerals they use in rituals. The terms Kindoki and Indoki have not escaped this Westerner wave of undermining, have not escaped this Western wave of undermining. This state of affairs did not proceed without a browsing and excavating fear and distrust among the Bessie Congo, vis-a-vis their compatriots. This fear would eventually plunge the minds into devastating darkness. This impelled plunge, this impelled G.W. Carpenter to write Speaking of Darkness as the fourth largest barrier to the evangelization of the Congo. But the real heart of darkness was the universal practice of witchcraft. From this, Montero wrote, witchcraft is their main or only belief. Everything that happens is caused by it, and all cases of drought, disease, and death, disgrace, accidents, or even the most trivial circumstances are assigned with the evil influence of witchcraft or fetish. A fetish is then consulted, and a miserable unlucky is accused. He is to be killed on spot or sold into slavery, and in most cases, all his family and all their property confiscated and shared throughout the city. In other cases, however, a heavy fine is imposed, and failure to pay results in slavery option. Proof poison is sometimes given to the accused, who often ask eagerly, such as firm belief in it. Hmm. So you see, a lot of people rather be poisoned than to give up on their beliefs. Anyways, a century of evangelization, a rational instruction failed to enable the colonizing powers to eradicate the fear of the Kindoki their predecessors have sown in Africa. This fear, having semantic origins, can be overcome only by replacing the words in their original context and defining African concepts not along the connotation that Western thought gives them, but according to the profound sense that African spirit attributed to them before the arrival of the explorers. Some researchers have tried to remedy the error involved in the use of the word which in lieu of Indoki by replacing the word mage, but this does not solve the problem. The deficiency is brought by the use of the words mage and magics instead of Indoki and Kindoki is basically because the word mage comes from the Greek magos, a term used in the Bible to refer to the wise men, i.e., the scholars of the former East. This term is sometimes suggested by some researchers to translate the term or the word witchcraft when used to positively. But the problem the white is not to whitewash the term witch but to give the terms Indoki and Kindoki their true connotation in the deep understanding of the Nkongo, the man, hence the African. The use of the term mage to designate the good witch, which applied to the term Indoki, implies the existence of two Bindoki, Pira Kindoki, a benevolent one equivalent to a white mage and an evil one equivalent to a black mage. However, as we shall see later, the Kindoki as such is knowledge. It is not therefore intrinsically evil or benevolent. Accounting is a neutral knowledge, but the use or made of it can be constructive or criminal. So is it also in Kindoki. The term made magic applied to Kindoki puts it at odds with even the church, which usually sees magic as a deviation condemned by the Holy Scriptures. Kindoki is a value that so interpenetrates African society that to speak of it as magic is to speak of a magical society, as some easily advocate. But if the qualifier magic refers to the mage, then Africa is a learned society, assert, assertion that the supporters of the magic of Africa hesitate to affirm. On the contrary, if the use of the qualifier as if the use of the qualifier magic refers to black magic, we are far from getting out of the darkness, where the translation of the word Indoki by witchcraft plunged us. One will perhaps find consolation with the idea that the term Magic Africa refers to white magic, but then its true use will never erase the shadow of the black magic that will also confuse the spirits. There, then, by remains only one valid solution. Start from the tea box, i.e., the hut of the ancestor, Nekongo, in Tortilla, and see things as they appear in his mind. Many may say that this research is a difficult enterprise because the oral tradition can only provide us an element of approach, but this argument forgets some inedible traces left by deep tradition, like a sphinx scene silent. These tracks speak to modern civilization despite the censorship of time. The concept of Kindoki in the Congo deep mine. Kindoki, as defined by the Nkongo, no concept among the Bessie Congo is as veiled as the Kindoki. Even, even thought, everyone talks of it, but with a few exceptions, no one accepts to be bathing in it. Yet, according to some initiates, there are more Bandoki than Bampansu. the uninitiated among the Besikongo. The Kindoki, a universe of initiatory knowledge, has always been protected by the oath of silence, although clumsy language never failed to release the fragments of sentences that may well help the advised researcher. The silence of Indoki, although imposed by his initiation, any violation resulting in retaliation, is also the danger that he would face if he were to admit his membership in the initiatory universe, as any case of the fatality in family or his surrounding will expose him to be an alleged culprit. And what is more, even the real culprit could enjoy his confession to own of a scapegoat. However, even when the initiated happens to break the oath of silence knowingly, often doubt in the mind prevents the uninitiated to believe what seems unlikely. If for Western witchcraft is an evil practice, which is justified for the Inkongo, the Mwesi Congo, the inhabitant of the kingdom of Congo, the Congo man, the Kindoki, knowledge in Zelu, the power, Lendo, the intelligence in Gango, and hearing and sight in Gule and Pembo, in Puendo, a secret knowledge. Hmm. A secret knowledge that only initiates have and which allows them to access knowledge applicable in the world of common mortals. Knowledge that allows the Indoki to access the world of the other dream, the nocturnal, a knowledge of the good and evil to be avoided. Knowledge of both positive and negative techniques. Both the Indoki, being a guardian of the people, must know how to protect them against the barbaric acts of the Nkadi, Apemba, the devil. Hence, he must also know the techniques of this one and know how to respond to him with appropriate weapons, whether it be a prayer, incantation, hypnotism, alchemical traps, which he must use only for his defense or for the defense of his people to suppress and prevent criminal acts. Otherwise, he becomes an Nkua Ensoki, a malefactor or a sorcerer. A power that enables the initiate to surpass the human, to transcend the physical limitations, even to produce the some phenomena misnamed supernatural by the common mortal, a consciousness hidden in the impansi umuntu, the common mortal. And this state of consciousness enables the initiate to move while his physical body is laying on the bed. Vesikongo se senkama kasikamangu mu impimpa. He wakes at night. But how can somebody move while his body is still in the bed? The Indoki replies, Muzai wa impimpa. By the nocturnal consciousness, because the Kindoki on this point is a lucid dream, a dream in which the initiate is aware of dreaming, the nocturnal universe to which only initiates have access to, at least as they believe. And in the binaural world are but two lucid dreams taking turns. An intelligence that enables the Indoki to be a true sage, it is said to be in the Congo nation, a real clan. A leader must be an initiate, an Indoki, because he must lead the clan the day as well as in the night. He must protect his family and visit them every time. But how can he do that when he has the clan members are scattered? The answer is always the same. The night by the Kindoki. An uncle always blasted. One day I asked my mother, why? she could not be as eloquent as X. She replied without hesitation, "It is his ancestor who speaks in her, the Kindoki, according to the Congo. His knowledge and ability usually acquired through the help of the spirits and her ancestors. Hence, the commitment of the African in the remains of his dead, and his devotion to carefully maintain the final resting place of the Nkunku Yungu ancestor who passed the first ethereal plane. The transition between the physical world and the second ethereal plane may well last for years. The dead remaining prisoners at the Kanga, the nocturnal country of the Bandoki. The dead are alive. Death itself is only a transition, a journey without an immediate return, unless the traveler meets an Nkulu, an ancestor, who chases him back. Futuka, Kua, and Nani in Sidi, Bayuka, go back home. To whom have you left yours? The other day a cousin told me an ancestor came to show him in the dream the limits of our clan land, providing a solution to the land dispute between two opposing clans. In a dream, this language ambiguous judging by his assurance. It could also be a visit of the ancestor at the nocturnal country of the Bandoki. These meetings in the other world justify the Congo healers' certainty about their portions. They are shown to me when I sleep, they say. In this case, the healer does not need a test lab. Why should he doubt the word coming from heavenly wisdom? The Kindoki is a faculty which enables the initiate to draw on knowledge from these advanced spirits who are the Nkungua, Nkungyungu. It would be futile to go to war against the Kindoki, as White did against sorcery. But as the evident, we should highlight the true nature of the Kindoki in order to show the initiate the consequences of the misuse of Kindoki and how he can rise above such temptation, and also to help the uninitiated to eliminate. Appreciate to eliminate his fear of the Kindoki. We must give back to the word Kindoki its true semantic value. When I said in this meeting of friends, one of them asked me this question: "Don't you see the term itself is derogatory?" It's sad that I didn't have a satisfactory answer for him, but I have one for you now. Kindoki, a non pejorative concept in the mind of Nkongo. Witchcraft, as how we have seen it, is an evil practice. The translation of the word kindoki by witchcraft has transmitted to the Congo term the pejorative connotation inherent to evil. Thus, today, the word indoki refers falsely to an individual walking against the current progress of the society. Yet we can show that for the basic Congo, the concepts of Kindoki was not purgatory, as clearly proven by certain facts. One, the symbolism of the cat, the fact that the Kindoki is a knowledge and an ability, the respect enjoyed by the high priest beside the Intotila. The symbolism of the cat.